Okay, we'll go ahead and bring the Board of Works meeting to order. Were you given a chance to read the minutes from the previous meeting on January 2nd?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as email.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Okay. We need to make a matter of record the advertisement of the date change. We had moved it back a week because some of the elected officials and we're going to be gone, so I know it was advertised. We make that a matter of record.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Okay. Kurt and Brad, we have some code enforcement concerns. Is Kurt going to run the computer? All right. You know what? I don't have the addresses here.
This one is 437 Mercer. Is anybody here to represent 437 Mercer? Alright, well, this should be fairly quick. Anybody else need a copy? There's yours.
437
Alright.
Mercer
We'll go
Avenue.
back in time here a little ways. Go back to May 11th, 2023. We got a call and complaint about overgrown vegetation at this residence, so we investigated. It was well above the 6 inches allowed by ordinance. We followed up again with this property on May 23rd, and the property had been mowed, so the nuisance is abated. June 2nd, we got another complaint of overgrown weeds. When we looked around, we found overgrown weeds, we found accumulation of rubbish, and we found a dilapidated structure. You can see in the pictures there are holes in the roof. So this house had to be taken on damage from the water getting in through the roof. Notices to abate the rubbish, the excessive weeds and vegetation, and dilapidated structure were issued. Those were delivered by Decatur PD on June 6th of 2023 at 11:33 a.m. The property owner, Mr. David Wilson, called the office on June 12th and he set up an appointment to meet with us to discuss what he needed to do. On June 16th, he visited our office. We talked to him about the holes in the roof, getting the yard mowed, stuff like that. You can see areas there circled in yellow in your pictures that are the problem areas. On July 3rd, Mr. Wilson told us he was getting bids to repair his roof. He had lined up a contractor to cover up the holes to keep as much weather out until the roof could be repaired. August 31st, pictures show it's basically a synthetic roof felt. It's like glorified house wrap. It covers the holes on the roof. The installer did pretty decent. He put wooden slats on it to hold it on. It's a temporary fix, but he was trying to keep it on as long as possible. So September 11th, you can see the patches are just exactly as they were. So no progress in getting the roof done. At this point in time, you can see the weeds are overgrown in the yard again. So September 13th, Mr. Wilson called and left us a message asking, we called Mr. Wilson asking him to contact the office. On the 14th, he called and said he was working with a contractor. He was supposed to call us in the next couple of weeks and let us know what his plans were for getting this place fixed. So, October 27th of 2023, no progress at the property. You can see one of the slats has actually come loose and that temporary cover is flapping up in the wind. On 12/1, the roof has still not been repaired. You can see the same gray synthetic paper up there. But at this point, at least the yard's mowed and the weeds are managed. December 27th, the roof repair had not been completed. We see no signs that anything had been attempted to be repaired. So on that same date, final notice to abate the dangerous or dilapidated structure was issued by our office. Decatur PD delivered that at 4:21 p.m. on December 28th. January 11th of this year, we visited the property again. No change to the home. The roof's not repaired. Temporary patches are still there. There's a picture circled in red that shows some more soffit material and stuff falling down. So birds and other animals are obviously getting into this place. As of today, the 23rd, nothing has been replaced, nothing's been repaired, and Mr. Wilson has not been in contact with us. We've made phone calls and stuff, left messages, and we're getting nowhere with him. So, we're hoping that a letter from the city attorney would motivate him. Board of Works, does that sound like next step to you guys to have Ann send a letter?
Something needs to be done. I mean, you went from May to December, so a whole bunch of months.
It's a huge roof. It's probably 30 square. You're probably talking $8,000 to $10,000 to do this, and the guy just, I don't think the money's there. But we got to do something with it. It can't continue to get worse. The roof's going to get worse. There's going to be more damage inside than the building's going to end up getting.
I believe, wasn't he and his son in here a couple years ago? But it was more rubbish, I think.
We had issues with porch roof and stuff like that, and rubbish and other things, but that took a while, but it was taken care of.
No, that is the one, the hole in the porch.
Yeah, and a bunch of, like, bikes and a bunch of things out back.
Umbrella. Umbrella sticking.
So you're requesting that we have the attorney write a letter to him, and
That's our recommendation at this time.
I'll make a motion to do that.
Generally, the letter provides a time frame, a deadline for abatement of the nuisance, in this case for the dilapidated structure and roof repairs. And then if the nuisance isn't abated by that time, fines are affixed. And they've been running at $100 a day until they reach the statutory max or the nuisance is abated.
How do you set a deadline for a roof in January?
Exactly.
Right.
This is totally weather dependent.
I recommend we give them 60 days to get a contractor in line. I mean, you're not going to get a roof on in January. You're probably not going to get one in February.
Exactly.
Give him 60 days to figure out how he's going to pay for this roof, how he's going to get it done, and get a signed agreement with the contractor. Then after that 60 days, we can figure out when that contractor is going to actually get started. I mean, we've got to do something to get
Right,
the ball rolling.
right. So I guess maybe we just get a deadline to get a contractor in line and get a plan for the roof?
But I would also put some teeth into it. If he doesn't follow the rules at 60 days, then start the fine process.
Okay.
We agree?
Yep. 60 days from receipt of the letter?
I would just have a signed contract within 60 days. That shouldn't be that hard to do. I don't really care when the roof is fixed, but like he can present the contract to the building department and they know it's going to be done.
Good point.
That way we're not waiting another 30 days after that. And
Right. So 60 days to have a signed contract?
I was thinking more like 30, but I guess we'll give it 60. That's what Kurt recommended. We'll just go with his recommendation.
60, because like I said, you're not going to get anything done this month. Right? You're not going to get anything ready up there in February. And March is kind of iffy. So,
Right.
I mean, it gives him plenty of time.
Well-
There's no reason why you can't have a signed contract within 60 days.
60 days gives him an opportunity to go to the bank, too.
Yes, it does.
But I think that we need to stress that to him, you know. We need a signed contract to the building department in 60 days.
Okay.
And then the fines would start.
Yep.
Okay, so do I have a motion for 60 days for a signed contract?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. 60 days.
Our next address is 230 Oak Ridge Place. Anybody here to represent this one? Okay. 230 Oak Ridge Place, same story kind of. We've been dealing this one for a while as well. So, September 26th of 2023. Timeline goes farther back, but this is what's relevant. We issued notices to abate for accumulation of rubbish and excessive weeds and vegetation. On the 27th, those were delivered by Decatur Police Department at 8:47. October 3rd is where your pictures start. We got another complaint about excessive weeds and vegetation. The yard's overgrown. There's trees and stuff out of control around the deck and the back around the pool.
Is that that
So
one?
it's obviously in excess of the 6 inches allowed by ordinance. So October 5th, notice to abate the weeds and vegetation was issued. Same day we also issued a notice to abate the accumulation of rubbish. There in the top left picture that the board has, that kind of square looking area by the fence, that is the remains of the floor of a shed. That is rotten plywood. So that's the rubbish issue in the backyard at this point. October 6th, notice to abate the weeds and vegetation was delivered by DPD at 10:24. They also delivered the notice to abate the accumulation of rubbish same day. October 17th, there's more pictures here. We visited the home again. There were some improvements, but there's still things to take care of. There's areas of tall weeds. When they mow, they don't trim. So you still have the clutter and rubbish of weeds and stuff growing around it. The area around the pool's grown up. The area under the deck's grown up. So we decided we'd give them another week to visit. So October 26th, we went to the home. You can look at the front yard and see how out of control it is. The backyard is out of control as well. The same rotten plywood floor from the shed is exactly how it was. So nothing had happened. No obvious signs of improvement. November 13th, we're basically in the same situation. No obvious signs of improvement.
Have you had any response at all?
Well, we're real close to that.
Okay.
Between a colorful phone call and a colorful visit. So November 15th, notice of hearing was issued. On the 20th, that was delivered by Decatur Police Department. On the 20th, we visited the Guerra residence. This was after a colorful phone call to our secretary, and it was just decided that we would go talk to these folks. So when we got there, the colorful language continued, and we talked quite a bit. We were there Kurt and I both went, we were probably there for a good half hour. And the short story is, she says that the gentleman that lives there works a lot, he's unable to take care of the weeds. This lady was an elderly woman, so we opted to say, all right, take care of one small item, call us and let us know, we'll come out and verify it. As long as you're making progress, we'll continue to work with you. She was very interested in this. We offered different opportunities for her to get help. We offered the Neighbor Link pamphlet and all that stuff. So that was on the 20th. On the 27th, we should have gotten a phone call from her. That was 1 week. So on the 28th, we went back out to check. Nothing had been done. So the conversation with her, evidently it didn't sink in. She didn't follow through with it. So you can see that the plywood shed floor is still there. The little garden in the back is overgrown. The weeds around the pool are still there, just as all the other pictures have shown. On the 29th, we visited and took some pictures again. There's a ladder that sits up against the front of the house. There's a footwall and a flower bed. It's just tons of little items that are just neglected to add up to the whole property that's just in disrepair. The flower beds are overgrown, and even out by the road, right beside the road, the weeds by the mailbox are like 14 or 16 inches tall. So on 12/6, we had contact from them. They said they would clean up what they could manage, then they would get back with us and let us know. So what we noticed was some of the weeds, the dead weeds and dead vegetation in the planters had been removed. The wooden ladder was still against the house. Most of the weeds around the rest of the property were still as they were, but we could see that they had done something. On 12/12, this is to the point where we're back to no contact from the family. We considered it virtually unchanged. There was nothing that we could see that had obviously been done. 12/27, notice of hearing was issued. That was delivered by the Decatur Police Department that same day at 1:30 p.m. And then, as of 1:23, we took pictures this morning. With the exception that the yard is snow covered, that's the only change in the state of the property. The weeds in the back are still overgrown. Stuff around the pool's overgrown. Stuff under the deck's overgrown. There's a wood pile with weeds growing up between the pieces of wood. The shed floor is just where it was, and the weeds by the mailbox are just how they were. So we have the authority to take care of the weeds and vegetation, but the accumulation of rubbish is where we typically contract a third-party contractor. So here again, we're going to ask Ann, can you reach out to these folks and send them a letter and outline the timeline that they need to comply? The bulk of the rubbish is in the rear of the yard in a fenced-in area, and these folks do have dogs that we know of, so it's not as simple as just going in there and picking stuff up and throwing it away.
All right. But it would be that simple for them.
Yes, it should be.
I mean, a shed floor. I mean,
There was a colorful conversation about that as well.
I'd say we give a deadline for all this rubbish to be cleaned up. You can still run a weed eater when it's cold out.
Sure. And like I said, we've offered the pamphlet from NeighborLink. Helps there with one phone call.
Yeah, fine. 2 weeks or...
Yeah, snow's going to be gone here today, so 2 weeks from receipt of the letter. Fine, start after that.
Do we need to set a deadline to remove the rubbish or the, yeah. Or are we going in and going to do the weed and vegetation after 2 weeks?
They haven't noticed that they've had their final now. We can take care of the weeds and vegetation. It would be nice to have Ann send a letter. That way they know that everything's going to happen.
Let's give them 2 weeks and put in there that it also at 2 weeks we're gonna come in and take care of the weeds and vegetation,
And bill them.
and they'll be billed for it, and the fines will start.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Thanks for your good work.
Weeds and vegetation, 2 weeks. If not done, city will abate and bill them. If the accumulation of rubbish is not abated, then the fine
Fines will start.
start.
Yes.
Okay.
And then on one positive note, we did have a third case for tonight, but they called and talked to us today, and we visited the property, and cleanup efforts have started.
Great.
We're somewhat optimistic they'll continue.
So you work with the ones that actually help themselves out.
Yes, we're
Thank-
happy to.
Thank you for that. Josh, you want to come talk about the Duke's INI detection study? And then you might as well stay for the Structure Point. Is that your contract with Structure Point? We'll do both. Yeah, we'll do both of them now.
All right. 2019, we purchased the camera truck, the back truck for cleaning up the sanitary system and trying to find INI issues to try to save from getting a tank out here or minimize the size of it. So year to date, since 2019, we've cleaned 27,584 feet roughly. We've cameraed 28,836. We found a lot of issues in between now and whenever we purchased that truck, but a lot of times you can only find the problems where it's raining, you know what I mean, unless it's totally obvious, like gee, we eliminated 1,800 feet, applied because it was there, it just showed itself right when we went down it. And Donnie found some other issues, and I think he just eliminated like 500 or something and fixed a lot of other problems. But problem is, a lot of these issues, like spots, we have to have rain to see them, and a lot of times you get out there at that point, and there's 37,000 feet in our system. So I could chase this thing for years and years and years, and I mean, still not find even close to anything. Maybe not even put it in. We're gonna find some big problems. Don't get me wrong, but anyway, I was talking to Dukes. He came, and Bob Hunn, he worked for Dukes, and he was presenting some root control deal with me, and then somehow we got on this INI micro detection. And what this does, they put sensors all throughout the city, and these things put off like signal every 15 minutes. So it's like 96 per 24 hours. So each one of these sensors is like 5,670. What do you want to call it? Help me out here.
Data points? Or, oh.
Yeah, well, they'll sense every 15 minutes.
Right.
So if they have these all throughout the city, they'll sense at the same time, like one rain event, they'll map out the whole city at that particular time and tell you where your issues are.
It would be like somebody pulling all the manholes and watching at the exact same time, like hundreds of different places at the same time.
The problem is I'm out there popping manholes all over the place where it's raining. I mean, you might have a half inch at this point and then 1 inch here, but I mean, if you got to go through the whole city at the same time and actually see, what the big problem is. How it can be gone by the time you make it to one point.
Right.
I read through this email today, and basically it sounds like they're going to put, a sensor in there to either camera it or tell a depth of the water coming
Sensors all
through?
over.
Yeah.
Right. And is that map of manholes, is that what this is?
That's an example of another city.
That's another city.
That would be the finished product. And they had talked about that, what was it? This authorization. I think that's like if they showed other cities or something like this. You gotta check into it. It's just permission. to give them back the
It's
info.
our permission for them to
Yeah.
use our data points
Right.
and analysis.
So at the end of the day,
Okay.
they'll give us like disk and a full map, a big
Okay.
map, a couple of them.
Okay.
This is an example of what it looked like. So if you see, like the green, they didn't really map out the green manholes, they're highlighted.
Yeah.
Then you got like yellows, there's a fair. You got moderate, which is orange. And the red lines,
Those are severe.
those are what we would tackle first.
Okay.
Chase them through the whole city, hoping to find something where it rains. You know, maybe it take years and years and years. If we have like 6 points in the whole city and there's 37,000 feet, I mean, that could be a big deal. We could go straight to them where it rains, put the camera in, and find some big issues.
Okay. And this, what is this, a 90-day trial then?
It's a,
60?
it's, yes,
Not 90 days.
90? What I read today.
Yes, 90 days.
Okay. So, you're saying that if we do this, this will map out the most severe things and let you fix the biggest problems with the equipment that we have? Huh?
Start with the red.
Okay.
It'll save a lot of time.
Right.
At least
What
you
do we have to
a
get
map
down
go
to, what do we have to get down to so we can meet and possibly extend our time with IDEM on that? Is that that's the whole goal, right?
Well, the goal isn't to extend the take goal is to take out as much water as we can out of the system. We're actually, a group of us are meeting with IDEM on Thursday, and not necessarily asking for an extension. We're going to talk to them about this survey that we want to do, and give us a few months to look over it, figure out what's going on, and see if are there 2 smoking guns that are huge and we can fix them this summer, or are there 80 across the city? We're like, okay, let's build a tank. We got to do it. So that's what we want to know. This is going to give us a detailed picture of what our system looks like for every rain.
I see.
So
All we need is a 1 inch rain. They'll have like 7-day calibration time, and then they'll start their sensing.
Right.
We get a 1 inch rain within, that 90 days, whatever. If we don't get a 1 inch rain, they'll extend it.
Okay.
It would be no cost.
But this gives us an idea where we are and what's
Right.
the severest problems.
right.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
our hope
example-
is that this will get us some
Right.
enough information to where we can fix these things and hopefully take that away.
Right now, I can get lucky every once in a while. But I
Right.
got stuff to do.
Right.
Well, just in our conversation, the way you were describing it to me, if you look at the city's infrastructure and think of it like a haystack, this survey will kind of point out where all the needles are in the haystack, and we'll tell you the biggest needles to pull out of it first.
Right.
So, but the objective of it is to be able to identify where the infiltration is so that we can correct those issues and potentially reduce the size of the storage tank. And by reducing the size of the storage tank, it actually means that we're in greater compliance with our agreed order because we're actually removing that stormwater, right?
Right. So basically, we got a 3-year extension from IDEM about 3 years ago, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Was it 19? 2, 3.
I remember.
So we had 2 of them, yeah. But, so we're meeting with them this week, not necessarily to ask for an extension, but to explain to them where we're at, what we're doing. Between Josh and Donnie and Carrie, they've done a lot in the last 4 or 5 years. So we want to put these in to see where we're actually at and what. So we're going to ask them to give us Select May to look at it and see where we're at and if there's
Show them our
things we can
report.
fix, right? And then if we can fix it this summer, we won't even change the deadline. If it's going to take us till next spring, then maybe we have to ask for another year. But we don't know until we paint this picture.
Yeah.
There was an example downtown, I forget where it was, but
Oh yeah.
it was like an $800,000 lining project, and they decided to have Dukes come in and install these sensors. Well, they had an idea where they were going to line, start, and stop. Well, they put these sensors in and did all the data, mapped it out, and I don't know if it was the mayor or whoever it was, but he's like, I'm glad you guys came because we were actually going to stop lining. Right here, the pond was actually like 50 foot away.
So they were going to pay $800,000 to line it, and they weren't even going to fix the problem until these sensors showed them where it was.
What's the cost of this project? 50 grand?
40.
Yeah, I can't remember what page it was on.
$43,434. $1.15 a foot.
And I noticed you had 3 different shaded maps on that.
CSOs.
Yeah. And are they going to do all 3 of those CSOs? Okay.
Pull them all at the same time. That way we collect data, have a map, it's done.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see this
I
data.
think it's the right thing to do. We didn't have this option when we bought camera truck and the additional vac truck,
Don't
so...
get me wrong, we've done a ton with that.
Right.
Yeah.
They were awesome tools.
We're
They still
hoping.
are. It'd be really helpful. Point me in the right direction.
I think it's the right thing to do.
Tackle it right instead of chasing the whole city.
Right.
And you're still gonna need those 2 pieces.
Oh, yeah.
This just not
Right.
gonna work out.
Right.
Yeah.
We're hoping that this 44,000, if it reduces the size of the tank, it may save us
Million.
$5 million later.
Yeah.
You know, we just don't know. We don't know what that looks like. We're hoping that it does.
I'm convinced. I read the report. Thanks for your explanation. I'd make a motion that we accept Duke's proposal. Go forward with it.
Would we be better to check with IDEM first to make sure that's okay, and then, like, would this be better in the spring? Because it does on here say that if they have to remobilize, it's another $11,000.
So we're doing
It's if they remobilize.
They say pull and put new batteries in if there was no 1-inch rain event, so it's going to cost an extra $11,000 if it don't rain 1 inch.
So we're going to hit the spring.
Yeah.
They're going to go in soon. They're going to go for 3 months.
now.
If they put them in like, let's say, like in February, we're gonna hit that window. That's
Yeah.
what
I don't know, I guess make sure we hit the spot because it's another $11,000 if they don't hit a 1-inch
Right.
rain event.
That's why we want to do it now. I mean, it's going to be basically February.
This
February,
is like
March,
the
April.
thing they like to shoot for. That's why we're trying to get it moving. It was just coincidence. I was talking to him about it, and I'm like, that'd be awesome.
I make a motion that we accept the quote from Duke to go ahead and have him do it. And after you discuss it with IDEM, if you think it would help us and reduce what our costs would, that the mayor could sign that.
In my mind, 44,000 is not that much. If you look at the grand scheme of like me out there with Tom, the equipment, that costs money. I mean, it's paid for, but it costs money. And we can miss that window and then have to put tank in. And like you said, you're spending how many millions more to this thing?
Right.
I mean,
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, second.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Then you have a contract with American Structure Point about the outfall here on Jefferson or Madison Street. There's some pictures here. It looks like.
So,
Josh, before you start, I just want to clarify what was just approved. Is it the Precision Ionized Detection Program? Because there's actually a separate portion of it that requires authorization for the remobilization, which would allow them to go ahead and restart that. Or is the motion simply for the initial portion, and then there would need to be a secondary approval to come back and remobilize?
I think we revisit it then.
yeah.
I think we'll see what
this
data we
is the
get.
initial, this is approval for the initial proposal. Is that
That's what
correct?
I made the motion for the 43,000. You'd say,
Okay.
if they don't find a 1-inch time, I don't know when we would, because that's going to be the
Right.
biggest.
Yeah.
I think we decide then. Do we take the data that they still had with a 3/4 inch rain, or do
Yeah.
we pay $11,000 to extend it? I think we'd look at it then.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it was
Okay.
clarified.
So it's the main contract.
Okay.
Okay. American Structure Point in the Duckville.
All right, I got some pictures in front of you guys. So the front one, this was the head wall at the end of 2021. We did an inspection, just happened to see this thing across the river. It's right in between Marks and then Mobile Medical.
Yep.
On the backside. It's on the west side of the river. These other pictures are what it looks like now. It's fouled.
What did it blow out, the concrete wing wall?
Yeah, it blew it washed it out. That's what it looks like.
So it separated behind the wall and then just blew the concrete
The
wall.
water started moving behind that thing. That's 48-inch pipe. That's taking all this water downtown away from
Right.
Jefferson. It's a massive amount of water. So it wouldn't have took long once we started. But we got a hold of Structure Point, and just happened to be the guy that works there now. I can't remember his name. Do you remember him?
David Moore.
Okay. We were Commonwealth before, and he originally designed that separation project. So he knew everything about it, and they were looking at it, and they decided there was an issue. And there may be some other issues up here as far as the grading of the parking lot. We may not have some answers also. But we'd like for them, we'd like to go with this contract because he's already familiar with the project and think it'd be cheaper that way. He drew up the plan originally.
Yeah, it was nice when me and Josh met him out there. He knew exactly how it ran, how it worked. He's like, it comes up this way, it goes over some weirs.
I don't think he has a principal. He's out there. He's like, this
Yeah.
does drop in it, this does this. He knew everything about
Well,
it.
did it actually blow out the wing wall then?
It's washed out from underneath it, and it's actually about 6 foot below grade from what it was.
Okay.
So I'm picturing there's going to have to be sheeting drove, there's going to be crane work to bring that back up to full fill to get a new structure for it. But they need to look at, I don't know that it was done properly whenever it was installed the first time. They don't believe so either.
So what do we need to do? Put, what do they call it when they beat them I-beams down on the ground? They gotta,
Sheeting,
yeah.
We'll try to bring Mo back in or pile driver.
How much is it for this?
This was 49.
300. 49,300.
Is that construction?
Damn.
Not to exceed. This is not construction, no. This is just for there to look it over and come up with the plan, basically, on how to replace it. Yeah, not to exceed 49,300.
So that's for the engineering, you put it back together, huh?
They got the magic for engineers. It seems like everyone is
Always right at 15 sometimes.
Then we gotta contract it out?
50-50.
Or they gotta come up with a drawing, then we gotta contract that out, or what do you
They
think?
already have the original trench, they might just tweak it, but they'll have to design the sheeting, like the toe of the sheeting and all that stuff, and I think it's kind of minor. It's a head wall. The biggest work would be the construction, because you're going to have heavy equipment. That bank's like pretty
pretty steep.
It
Steep,
is
yeah.
real steep.
So it's gonna be crane work, big excavators.
Where's the weir part of that? Is it right there also? I know that we have a weir in that system. Basically, everything that comes down Jefferson in that area comes down and hits a wall,
There's defense, yeah.
and then deflects. The solids go towards the blue tank, and anything when we have a major overrain goes over the top of the weir and goes into the river through the duckbill. I mean, are they going to replace some? Are they going to? How far back are they going?
Well, there's a drop structure outside the defenders.
Okay.
They were looking at the weirs too, and we don't know if those were adjusted properly. There could have been too much flow. I don't know. There's a design that the weirs supposed to be set, and he knew everything about
Is
it.
this sewer or is this all on storm?
So we're not going to have to go back to the defenders.
Okay.
So they might have to go back to stick or whatever. They might change the material of pipe. I don't know. That's up to the engineers.
All right.
Right now it's dual wall.
Okay. Big plastic dual wall. What is it? 48.
Stormwater outfall. Right.
You recommend that we have these guys do it then?
I think there's
He did the
another
pipe work
project
design.
that would probably speed it up.
Okay.
Right now it's kind of a safety issue. Also,
I did all that in the parking
think
lot.
about it, kids get down there, you get 48 and pipe.
Get this stuff.
I mean, Jerry, you
for
see
the
it.
outfall.
It's
The
not
outfall's all
pretty.
done right.
All right.
It looks like the outfall wasn't constructed right.
And the 48 is washing out. It's a big
And it was,
step.
how long ago, do you know?
All right. I mean, they got riprap around it. I don't know what else we're supposed to do to watch out for the erosion of the bank.
Well, if you look at the parking lot over there,
Yeah.
it's been paved. It was not paved where they did this project, so it looks like it's all like
Dipping.
invert
Yeah.
going to there. So that might all that riprap has concrete on it too. So the whole
Okay.
parking lot sheet drained that way. It might have played a role. I don't know.
Okay.
That duckbill they modified also. They had to cut it because it wasn't opening properly. So I don't know if the water got behind that head wall
Yeah.
and wasn't able to go past the duckbill.
Yeah.
It was supposed to. It started washing out behind the head wall. Like I said, it was just poured around there, and they added that after. Usually where we install duckbills, I mean, it's on the pipe.
Okay.
It's not clamped to. or
Yeah. I got
Put it
you.
on the structure.
All right.
And that probably would have helped if it was like concrete pipe and they had to clamp around it.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this.
I got you. So you recommend that we have this engineering firm come up with a plan?
I
fix this
do
proper-
because they're familiar with it, with every, I mean, it's not a huge deal, but he drew the prints up. It's like I said, I think it's fairly simple part of the engineering part, construction to it.
And it's not to exceed.
Yep.
Is this one supposed to be closed?
Hmm?
Is this the same one that was supposed to be sealed in the building of the tank that they forgot about and then?
This is storm.
This is stormwater, not sewer.
No, I think, wasn't this the outfall that they were gonna close?
No, that's the stormwater outlet.
That's just
Oh.
storm. It was part of the separation.
What?
It's all new.
Right. So I think that's where he was saying that
It's not separated.
so
It's just the water, the storm overflows over the solids, and it's got a weir system in the pipe. Basically, all the poop comes down here and it hits a wall, and it goes that direction.
not on this system.
Oh, not on this one?
No, this isn't sewer, this is all storm.
Okay. Well, why is there the
Float out
pumps?
Water and divert it to the defenders. There's two ox swirls on each side of the main chamber. So if the ox swirl should not handle the water, it goes over that weir.
Okay. But the sewer portion goes right across that parking lot.
That's
because-
next to it.
Oh, it's a different pipe?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is strictly storm.
All right.
What's the purpose
And I
of
think
it?
the weir, like, it had to do with, like, some of the downtown buildings were flooding, right? If they had the weirs all the way up, it would hold the water back, so.
Yeah, you don't want to slow it down.
Right.
And then it'll divert, I mean, like there goes the ox swirl, that gets debris, dirt, and whatever else, trash. That needs cleaned out every so often.
I need to learn more about that.
Yes, settlement.
Well, if you recommend it, I'd go
So
along
what
with
does
it.
the duckbill do then? Just,
Well, it's a check valve, basically.
It just opens up when water pressure's against it.
So if you have rain, let anything come back in.
Then it closes.
The river gets up, it
Safety,
doesn't
so
get
kids can't climb up the
River
pipe.
comes up the top of the bank.
Varmints and everything else.
Flooding out, so if that gets so much pressure, if it does rain, the river's up, it's gonna relieve.
Gotcha.
They'll still let it out.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't think we really have an option.
No, it's got
It's
it.
kind of an emergency, like I said.
Yeah.
I'll make a
It's not
motion.
prettiest.
I'll make a motion to go with,
If you actually see it in person.
American Structure Point?
who is this?
American Structure Point.
I'll make a motion that we go with American Structure Point for the engineering of this project.
Second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
I
Okay.
wish I could do this one myself, but it's gonna take bigger equipment than what we have.
That's a little bigger than you want to deal with, isn't it?
Well, I
A little
mean,
bit more experience.
the slope doesn't help.
Yeah, like I said, there's sheeting involved there, I know there's gonna be sheeting involved. More skill.
Okay,
Yeah, thanks.
who has the fire contract with River
I don't.
Township? You do? We'll do that one.
Okay, I just have the fire contract with Root Township, just need everybody's signature and make it a matter of record.
What is that annually?
The total for 24 is $22,692, split up, one payment in June, one by December.
Just the one they were having the budget issues with.
No, that was the union.
That was you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Yes, aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay. Jeremy, I think you have a couple things. Might as well come up. Got the cover sheet for 5 points, and I have a wood pile discussion. Where do you? Yeah.
On the wood pile, that is all the big trees, the logs, that we've cut, or the contractors have cut, and all the hand material, probably the last 5 years out of the compost site. Trying to do some spring cleaning out there early, the way the weather's been. I talked with Tawa, which does the mulch grinding for Adams County
Solid waste?
solid waste out there. And I've also talked to Go Green. Go Green does not do this anymore, but Tawa does. It's professional service. I technically only needed one quote, but I asked them both. So I believe we're just a little over 10,000 laying up there.
10,890.
Okay. This could be done sometime in February. So what they would do is they would grind it up. It's bigger chunks. It's not what you would take home. The wood's pretty bad shape. So it's nothing that anybody wants. We were trying to give it away. There's stuff that's 6-8 foot in diameter, all the way up to the smaller stuff. It's just garbage.
Needs to get out of here. Make room.
Well, it's probably all cottonwood and not good material.
Needs to go.
Yeah.
So, normally I pay this out of sanitation. So, I would prefer to do that again out of sanitation.
I'll make a motion to approve the, is it an estimate or a
Quote.
a quote? I'll make a motion to approve the quote.
I'll second.
Okay, motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same
Summer
sign.
months, also there's the big pile of compost out there. I'm not asking for permission to do anything tonight, but just make you aware that I'd like to get that screened by the same company in the spring or summer months. You always want to do it once good and dry, because that dirt just plugs the screen up.
Yeah.
We have a monster pile of compost out there. If you can screen it and get the garbage out of it, it goes out as fast as you can screen it.
Right.
We're running out of room out there. We need to get it screened.
Running out of paved area, aren't we?
Right now, you're about 17,000 to do that. I'm a little leery right now, even if it was summertime. going into construction season, but I'd like to revisit it, maybe May, June.
Okay.
See if we can swing it, and then do that, so.
I'm off the subject, but the last time we had a meeting, you had mentioned something about the guys are going to come in and crush some of your rock.
Yes.
When they start that journey?
Sometime mid to late February.
Okay.
We're not gonna do the whole pile, just.
5,000 to 8,000, is that what you said last time?
It's gonna be an expensive year, construction project, so, we're just gonna do what we feel we can get by with.
Okay.
And staying back then, what the budgets this summer for next year. Any question on that grinding, screening?
Nope.
We made the motion to pass that, right?
Yep, we did for that quote, yep.
Do a lot of cities let contractors dump all their debris?
Majority. We went back and forth with the Solid Waste District several years ago on that. And back when Hank Mayer was still here, he actually took it to the Solid Waste Board. When your dad was there, I believe, when John was still the mayor. And the Solid Waste Board said that they were fine with contractors dumping in there as long as the city was fine with it, because they actually pay the grinding fee for all the brush. We used to have several different brush drop-offs. One was in Decatur, one was in Bern, one was in Geneva, one was out at the transfer station. Hank had one at the transfer station. He would never get enough in there to make it work. Everybody was bringing it here. So that's way back when the city owned a tub grinder. Many, many years ago, probably 25 years ago. It got to be a maintenance nightmare and a real safety issue. At that time, Fred Ish said, let's get rid of the thing. It was constantly broke down. And then that basically entered into this agreement with the Solid Waste District that they would pay it. They used to pay it twice a year. Now they only pay it once a year. They pay a little bit more the first time, but then they're not coming back in. So it's saving you guys money.
Right.
I haven't heard the totals for quite some time, but it was always 8 to 10 to 12,000 per time.
What was the last one? Wasn't it just? I thought I just seen a quote for 15,000.
Now it's, we just let the pile grow.
So do you go in front of the county and ask them to help us with this one, or what?
Nope.
Solid Waste takes care of it every year, so I'm on the Solid Waste Board, and they do all the chipping. They pay the chipping out of their budget.
Okay.
So, was it 15,000?
I don't remember.
I feel like it was just at the last meeting. I think we brought that. But they pay for it. They grind here and they grind in Bern too.
Right.
Okay.
They must still have one spot down in Bern.
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
And then they sell the mulch, I think, or I don't know if that just comes off the
They
price.
sell about half of ours. So actually that bill's a lot more for here. That bill's probably more like 20, 25.
And they buy part of
They're
it.
actually buying it back,
Yep.
which discounts your bill that you're paying to grind.
Right.
Well, you haven't ground this big stuff in years, have you? Or
About 5 years probably. We've given some to Hellers and some other people. It's just so big, nobody wants it.
Right.
And the other item I have for tonight for the Board of Works is I have a cover sheet for the Pine Points project. About 3 weeks or 4 weeks, probably about 3 weeks ago, we sent everybody the plans. Not really expecting everybody to go through all 63 pages on the plans, but I need my signature, Dan's signature, Craig and Tyler's. And Kevin's. Actually, no, we don't. Yeah, we do need my signature. So, what this will do then is the plans are ready to go to NDOT. They actually have to be in here within the next month to be able to meet all the deadlines.
Yep.
So, you can still review the plans.
Is that the final deal then? Would that be the final? Or you guys? I read through it.
I looked through them all.
What do you guys? I mean, other than I would assume the subgraded it up to state standards for the state or for the roads for the states. I just didn't know about if what we're going to do in the center of it, if you already have a plan, do we have to make that decision now?
It's pretty much designed, it's flat.
I saw the architectural portion.
There's covered concrete, stamped concrete around the two different circles, and then it's plants, flowers,
Okay,
and stuff.
I saw that, and I just,
Yeah.
do we have any, are they going to take care of everything from there, and then we just pay a portion of it, the 25%?
You're going to pay 20% in July,
Okay.
20% of the project.
Right.
Now, everyone has been concerned with the overages with inflation numbers. I talked to some state officials. I'm not going to guarantee this, and I'm also talking to Structure Point, but what their stance is so far, going into the last few months, is NDOT's been paying 100% of overages.
Good. And I think those numbers are starting to get better too.
They are. I think that's why they started kicking in.
Right.
Now, if you run out of like PE money and stuff on your shares, they've been asking the communities to come back and kick in some money. We're helping you on the end, but you need to. Which right now we've been good.
You talking about engineering?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the 80-20.
I mean, we didn't delay it, they did.
Right.
So I'm hopeful. Numbers are coming down. Construction's starting to slow down some. Come July the 10th, we see some good numbers.
Right.
Keep in mind, we will have a contractor July the 10th, or there shortly after. We'll have to pay our 20% within 30 days, so around August 10th to August 12th. Then we set late. There will be some utility relocation towards the end of probably fall to early winter of this year. It's very, very, very minimal. For the most part, everybody's out of the road. I know the water utility has some work that we need to do. It's not required, but we really need to do it. So that work will probably go on this summer, this fall. Also, and we don't have to go into real big detail tonight, but I've talked with Dan, and I sent some emails out to you guys about the termination points on Adams Street, not going all the way through the block. We really need to consider, when we know what contractor we're working with, is to get some quotes for them to finish out, from where they terminate construction to basically the next block, which is very short areas. Some of it's 50 feet, some of it's 60 feet, some of it's 200 feet.
If not, we're going to have brand new sidewalks and then turn into old sidewalks for the next quarter of a block. We might as well
I got you.
take them all to the next street.
And
So do we need to make a motion on this?
Then also at the same
Just
time,
to agree to sign this, I think.
then also at the same time is, do we want to continue the decorative street lighting up to that point? So it's just some things to think about. We'll be a little crunched by July, when we get really deep into the budgets, but it's not too intense where we can't get numbers back in time for the budget.
Hey, Jeremy, but if I sign that, will that lock in, even the detour route? Is that anything that would be open for discussion?
We can work a little bit on the detour route, but this is just more of the plans to get to the state so they can start getting contracts and stuff like that.
So do we need a motion
Need a motion
for all of us to sign it?
approve and authorize
You ready?
signature on the cover sheet.
I reviewed it.
I did too.
Do you get a chance?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we accept the drawings for the 5 points.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Okay.
I'm going to be gone the next couple of weeks. They're going to be up there.
We're going to sign it now.
Sign it.
Just the cover sheet. Do you have anything else for Board of Works, Kevin? Okay. Do you have anything else for Board of Works? Anything else from Board of Works members?
We'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign.